if we do code here, so it says my stream's offline. Oh no, there we go. Stream's online. Good-o. Right then. Just pause you. Cool. Okay. PandaBridge, dev.pandabridge.co.uk. Okay, cool. So what we need to do is we need to update our host file to this dev.pandabridge.co.uk thing. So let's open up our host file, which is in C, Windows, System 32, drivers, etc. Blah, blah, blah. All files, hosts. Ah, we've already got it. There you go. So it's already set up. Fantastic. Now let's go back to PowerShell, see what's running. So we've got something running from the other day. So I think this was my my attempt over here. Let's just check the stream health now. It says the stream health's shit, but it should be better. Anyway. So make down here. Let's just run that and then do docker ps and everything should be stopped. Good. Right. Let's go back to our marketing -wp. If you do ls here, you'll see that nothing's installed. That's fine. So if we do make up, hopefully everything will get pulled through. Oh, actually one thing I've done, which we probably don't want to do on Windows, is we're using the PHP image for Mac, I think. Yeah, look, we're using this one. When actually we probably want to use this one, so let's just comment out that and do that. Let's okay, right, it's complaining because the name is already named after something. That's fine. So it's named after something. That's because I've already created one called PandaBridge. So we'll call this something else. Let's call this something else. PB stream. There we go. PandaBridge stream. That's fine. Anyway, we're going to be changing it up with that new PHP version. So this is just checking that everything's set up correctly. Proxy on 8080. We don't actually need that 8081 set up, so let's find it. There you go, that's the dashboard one. So save that. I can't remember what port we're running on. 8000. Cool. Blah 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 blah. Programming cannot start traffic. Driver failed. Endpoint PB stream. Error starting username proxy. Now, this could be because we need to restart. Sometimes you need to restart Docker. Or I found on Windows sometimes it's a bit flaky. It could be that something's already on this port. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll restart it and then try it again. And if that doesn't work, we'll diagnose what's running on that port. While we're waiting for that to restart, let me bring up a few things. Let me just clean up my workspace a bit. So get rid of that one. We don't care. Let's close that. Let's close that. So let's bring up the README. So I'm using this. I'm using two things from a wordpress. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. using the WordPress Composer template and also the Docker for WordPress. So Docker for WordPress is the container stuff, which we can go and have a look at. And the WordPress Composer stuff is allowing us, okay, well, let's check out what's going on there. Yeah, is allowing us to manage the installation of WordPress and all its dependencies and plugins and whatnot through Composer, which is really cool. And then you do stuff down here, so you only check in the themes and plugins for plugin and theme development. So we'll come on to that in a minute. First of all, we just want to get this running. So anyway, that was Docker up and running. Awesome. So if we do make up, good. There we go, that worked. So restart worked. If we do Docker PS, we should now see everything running. So the way this works is it uses something called Trafix. I don't know if that, again, don't know if that's how you pronounce it, which is like a proxy, which proxies traffic coming in. So everything goes into this 8,000 and then it manages where to direct that traffic based on various rules. I disabled the 8080 port, didn't I? Well, whatever. So dev.pandabridge.co.uk 8,000. Cool. Injix 404 not found. That's fantastic. So that means our request is getting through and going to here. So we're now going to log in, or not, as the case may be. I have to try and remember how to do this. Is it bash pbstream underscore php? No, it's the other way around. pbstream underscore php. So I'm going to log into the machine, PHP machine, and I'm going to run some commands on it. Or not. Docker exec. There we go. There we go. So here you go. So we're now in our wodb PHP container, and you see all the same files as we see in our repository. So all of these files, right? So we've got Composer, we've got the licenses, all that stuff, right? So what we want to do is we want to run a command to install our dependencies as per the wodb Composer stuff we were just looking at, which is this stuff, or this stuff basically. So wodb is like a container host, I think. I've never actually used it for hosting. I probably should, because, whoops, I did not mean to do that. It looks pretty cool. Let's see what it says. Manage stacks and infrastructure for post-container world. For a post-container, for post-container world, whatever. So yeah, so basically we're using one of their stacks for development, essentially. But this is what happens when you deploy it. It installs all the dependencies, which is what we're going to do now inside the actual container. So first of all, let's just check we have Composer installed, which we do. Then we can write a command, Composer install no interaction, and optimize autoloader. So while that's doing that, we're going to bring up Notepad, start making some notes. Because if this all works, well, it should work, because we've just seen it's working. So well, we'll have a look in a minute. So the instructionals, we don't want the Travis link. Let's find the right one. What was it in the README, wasn't it? So here we go. How to use. I did not want to use that one. Here we go. So the Docker for WordPress, this is our container stuff. And we have configured it not for vanilla WordPress. As default, it comes configured for vanilla WordPress, which means if you run it, it will just spin up a WordPress instance, but you don't have any capability to modify themes and whatnot. So instead we want to mount my own code base. So these are the instructions that I followed. So essentially we are copying, we have the containerized system, and then we're copying in the Composer project into that. So I'm going to do a YouTube video on this, and this stream is really me trying to figure out what I want to put in that YouTube video. So we did this, and we just did a Composer restore. Oh yeah, well, I can show you probably like Container and stuff. So while that's running, all that's done. Awesome. So now, if we go here and refresh it, we have the WordPress installation files. And if we look at the code base that's been installed, see nothing's coming up through here. But if you look, we have now web and vendor. And this is because the Composer installed all these things for us. So if we look at the composer.json, which is basically, I don't know if you've used Node, it's a bit like NPM, it's a package manager basically for PHP dependencies. So we're requiring WordPress core stuff here, and we're installing it to, well, we're not installing any plugins at this point, but we are installing the install directory to web, so that's how that works. Yeah. So there you go. So let's try and set this up. So the thing we need to do now is we just need to check that our config matches this. So I believe that's in WP settings. Where's that? Settings, here we go. So we just need to find the is it no, wait a minute, WP config probably. Ah, look, config sample. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So we can just rename this as wp-config, and then we'll just sub in our env environments for this database. So WordPress. The host will be MariaDB because we're using containers. Let me just open up Container, as I said I would. So Container is another tool that this ships with. Ugh. Do I need to put Container into my host file? Maybe I do. Probably I do actually. This is Windows. So let's just do container.dev. What else do we want? We want mailhog, which we'll show in a minute. What else do we need? Let's start with that, and then we can see the containers. Ah, there you go. So as you can see, I've already saved that, and it's updated behind me. So containers is a way to kind of view what's going on with like the containers. So what's running. So the one we're running at the moment is, sorry, let's look at containers. You can see the containers that are running are these ones. So it's basically like a web front end to using the command line to manage containers. So if we wanted to restart something, we can do it here. Interestingly, we can look at streams here. Sorry, the log stream. Somehow, let's have a look. Logs, there we go. So you can see the logs. So you can see we went to index and then it redirected us 302 redirect to the admin setup config. for example. It's pretty cool. You can also, so we earlier did, we logged into the console here for that particular container using this syntax. But you can also, if I go back here now, go back, maybe that's probably easiest. I can click on console and I can connect into the bash console as I did using the other command. So it gives you a way to do all this stuff nice and easily. So cool. So we can see all the things that are running. So we've also set up MailHog, so let's have a look at that by going to here and the hosts alias that we just set up. And we've got MailHog, which is cool. So MailHog is a it's like a, well, maybe I could look at the GitHub to give us better information about it. So Mailcatcher, inspired by Mailcatcher. So it basically sits as like a bucket to catch any outgoing emails you send during development. So if I wrote an email to chris@pandabridge.co.uk, like if I had a bit of code in WordPress or whatever that sends that email, the SMTP config for the PHP container has been set up so that it actually forwards that email to MailHog. So it would appear here and it will go to, you know, chris@pandabridge.co, and I can view it here and I can delete it or whatever. So it basically captures all those emails so they don't actually go to your inbox and clutters up your inbox, which is nice. So yeah, it's very good. Really useful during development. So, right, yeah, so we were doing this. So we were in the middle of setting up. Oh yeah, that's right. I was showing you MariaDB. Yes, we've got MariaDB running here. And if we look at our Docker Compose, which is here, the name for the MariaDB one container is MariaDB. So you just refer to it by the container name, and it knows enough in terms of the host to be able to connect it. So that's why we put MariaDB here. Everything else can stay the same. I don't really care about any of this stuff, I don't think. That's fine. Prefix, fine. WB debug. What does that do? Displays notices during development. Yep. Fine, we'll turn that on because we want to do some debugging. Fine. So now, if we go back to here, hopefully, well, let's see what it does. Let's see if it picks up those settings. So it should like be configured and go WordPress, WordPress, WordPress. It shouldn't ask for all the DB stuff, which it doesn't look like it has done. So let's call it PandaBridge for the moment. Let's call it Chris. Let's give it a super secure password. And then let's give it a email. Fine, install WordPress. Save that, fine. Log in. So cool, so it didn't ask us to set up all the DB settings because we've already put it in the config, so that's fine. Now we can log in and we have our installed WordPress instance. Everything's here. We can view the site here and it's just the default stuff. Cool, so that's all working as I would expect it to on Windows, which is fantastic because I set this all up yesterday on Mac, which is why I wanted to test it on Windows before doing a YouTube video on it. So that's fantastic. So let us just copy some of this stuff. So first of all, we want to install Docker for WordPress, which can be found here. Second, we want to install WordPress Composer, which can be found here, which we'll do in a minute. Then what did we do? we then configured. There's a bunch of stuff you need to do actually when we're in the local environment. It tells you. So we want to delete docker-compose, docker-compose override, .override. Is that how you spell it? No. .yml. We set up the WP config, didn't we? .php. Oops. Sorry. Rename and set up WP config. So let me have a think. What else did we do? We logged in. Update host file. Oh, we probably want to update.env file with suitable project name and URL, base URL. So we saw that a minute ago. This is the env file. This is used so the make commands use this with the docker compose. So we'll see. Let's have a look. Project base URL. We go in here, do a search for project base URL. You can see it's used in docker compose here. So it basically substitutes all these things. So if you try to use docker compose up, I don't know if that's a docker compose thing or a make thing. Let's have a look at our make file. It uses docker.mk. Fine. So it says include.env. So it sets all those environment variables and then does all this stuff. So the make stuff's really useful. It's nice. It's a bit simpler than remembering all the docker commands. So I like it. It's nice. Simplifies things. What else did we do? So we updated the env file. We updated our Windows or Mac host file. So OS host file. We deleted the Docker Composer override for fine, whatever. We renamed and set up the WP config. We then ran make up. May require Docker restart on Windows for some reason. I don't know why, but it just does. And then what else did we do? We then logged into PHP container to install Composer, which is a one-time or initial way, because we can do it through Portainer go forwards. Install Composer dependencies, i.e. WordPress. So, and the command for that was you can do, I mentioned it earlier, you can do make shell, but for some reason, so that works for me on Mac, but it doesn't work here for some reason. Docker exec requires at least 2 arguments. I don't know if my Docker's out of date, maybe it needs updating, I don't know, but that's just the way it is, so maybe I'll have a play with that before I do the YouTube video. So once we install the dependencies, oh wait a minute, and then we need to install the dependencies, which we can get from the .wadb YML, which is this stuff. Cool. Once that's all done, we can then actually do our setup and run it, and here we go. Here's our website. So now we can do our theme and WordPress development. So shall we grab like a development theme for WordPress? So I don't know, template. I don't know if there's any good ones. We could use the _s one. underscore. Yes. To start a theme. Oh, what was that other one underneath it? Oh, that's just that's just this one. Okay, fine. So if we, I mean, let's just download this one as an example. So what are we going to call it? We're going to call it PB Stream theme. PB Stream theme. Advanced options. We want to use Sassify. We don't care about WooCommerce in this one. So let's generate it and download it, and then we can see what it looks like. So let's copy that, and let's copy it into our... Oh, let's open up this. So web, WP content, themes, into here. PB stream. There we go. So we've copied it in there. Now, if we go back to... where is it? Going blind. Here we go. So if you remember, I was talking about, well, just checking in the stuff that we want to change. Where was it? This one. How to manage my custom theme and plugins under version control. Exclude paths to your plugin or theme from git ignore. Example for theme under web w content theme, my custom theme. So we can copy that. Add the same path to your composer JSON under extra preserve paths. Cool. So let's go git ignore. So this is for our Panda Bridge theme, or development theme, let's call it. PB Stream, sorry, PB Stream theme. What was it called? PB Stream theme. PB Stream theme. Yep, cool. There we go, dink, and now we've got everything in there. And then the only other thing is we want to then copy that same path. Web WP content theme. Add the same thing to extra preserve paths in my composer. I'm guessing because composer will just overwrite it, so preserve paths. Let's just copy that. WP content themes. WP, oh no, PB stream was it? Hyphen themes. Theme. Good. I'll remove that trailing thingy. Right, cool. And then, so now, run composer install WordPress core and keep a custom theme. Cool. So that means if I check in all of this stuff, which I'll do in a minute, it will keep that. And if I were to set it up on a fresh machine, it won't override it completely. Cool. So you can go back in here. We can go back to here, and now we should see PB Stream. There you go. So we can activate that. And now if we go back to the site, it looks very basic, but that is the PB Stream working, and we can test that out by editing. Oh, wait a minute. I think you've got to... Trying to think how you do this now. I think if I customize the theme... No. Not customize. Do I have to install a plugin for the SAS? I can't remember. I think I might do. If I just close all... Whoops. Fuck's sake. Come on. So it does that, but it doesn't... whatever. You get the idea. Boop. Boop. Right. So let's go to our web content themes, PB Stream theme, and then we've got a SAS folder. Here we've got this style. So in here we can do body, background, color, red, important. And then I'm hoping that will automatically recompile, but I'm not sure if it does. Let's close some of these. I think I need to install a plugin to recompile the SAS. Let's have a look. I can't remember. I set this up on my other machine and I can't remember how I did it. Don't need that, don't need that. WP compiler. Minus power pre-process CS and minified JS in your theme plugin. Simply tell WP compiler where to find your source files and where to put the compiled results, then throw your install into dev mode. Alright. Recompiles your CS JS. Okay, cool. Just turn off dev mode and your star and JavaScript will be compiled and minimized and comments and source maps will be removed. Cool. That's cool. Let's just use this one then. So this is WP compiler. This is cool because we can look at how to set up the plugin stuff, install it using Composer. So to do that, let's go to composer.json, and then here we can do require and add in whatever the hell we need. And for that, I'm just going to jump back in here because I can't remember how to do it. With composer require, and I think it tells me where it looks for it. There we go, WP package list. And we want to get WP compiler. Search WP compiler. There we go. That's the one we're looking at. Perfect. So we can do it via the command line. So if I go back to Heart and open up the container, jump into the containers, jump into the PHP one, jump into console, connect, and then do composer require, and what was it? WT blah 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 blah. So I paste that, and then whatever it was, which was WP hyphen compiler, and I can hit enter. And we should see that package being added to our composer.json, which we'll check in a minute. So what does it say? So you can download the dependencies. I don't think you can install the dependency. I think you'd have to manage that separately. So anyway, that's done. What was one of the composer installs? Was like I think it's like wordpress command line WP CLI. So can I activate using this, like WP plugin activate or something? Yeah, there you go. So I don't know whether this will work because I don't know if I've got it installed, but let's have a look at that. Well, let's see if that works. Haha, cool, it does work. We do have it installed. I thought I saw it, that it was a dependency somewhere. So WP compiler. This does not seem to be a WordPress installation. What? Oh. Let me CD into web. which is where the WordPress stuff is, and then rerun that command. Activated it. Cool. I wonder if you can like export. So I've used like Drupal. In Drupal, I do quite a lot of Drupal development as well, and for that you have Drush as well as a Drupal command line thing, and you can do quite a lot of nifty things with it. So I wonder if you can export, like do a data dump. Ooh, export WordPress content to a WXR file. I wonder if you can do like config only. WXR does not include configurations objects. Maybe that's different then. Anyway, getting distracted. So if we now jump back into, so if we now go to the dashboard, see we've got this installed now. So you can see here, it's active. So enable dev mode. So I don't know if it automatically picks it up or whether I need to make a change. Like let's make this green. Oh, I probably actually need to set the settings for this. So SAS source folder will be, oh gosh. Now this is probably relative to the root, so web. So can I do wp-content -themes, or is it relative to the? Actually, it might be relative to the theme directory. I think that's where I've seen it before. So I'll do SAS. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. SAS target folder here. Done editing. Choose file type. Whoops. Cannot resolve errors in highlighted section. Target file. Oh, style. I think it is style.css. Yeah, okay. Style.css. Let's remove these trailing slashes. I don't know what they'll do. Okay. Okay, let's try changing that again. So. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Alright, cool. So I can do it like that. Okay, cool. Let me edit this then. Sorry. Read the documentation, Chris. Whatever. Source file or folders. So we could... I think we can do that. That's probably good enough. Save changes. Cool. Could not find /SAS. Okay, so it's got a trailing slash in there. Is it SAS? Yeah, it is, yeah. So do I need to explicitly go to the file /style.sss? Okay. Let's try doing a change again. So change that. There we go. Compiled. Awesome. So I don't know how quick it is. It seems pretty good. Nice one. So there you go. So we've got SAS compilation, and presumably you can do stuff with JavaScript as well. So I don't know if we've got any JS. Doesn't look like we're compressing it. We could do like a thing here. So anyway, let's check this in. Starter theme and /JS compiler plugin. Boop. Cool. Let's just jump back into that because I'm interested to see what happens. So let's just run this F12 sources, WP content, blah 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 blah, and we've got this, right? So that's everything there. Let's do open a new tab so it's here. So if I turn compile off, and that's happened. So it squidged it. Look at that. That's cool. This CSS compile using WP compile plugin. Cool. What's bytes.co? Is that their website? Let's have a look at that. Cool. Whatever. That's fine. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that. And then if it, and then you can see here it's uncompressed it and shows us all the comments and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. I like it. Oh, actually, did I see that it generated a source map? That would be annoying. Cool. Anyway. So that's our theme development all set up. So I think that is good, and we've seen it from start to finish. And if we want to look at our source code repository, I'll check this in quickly, so you can see what it looks like. So obviously locally, we've got vendor, web content includes, you know, admin, all this kind of crap, whatever. This will be pushed now, but if we look at the what's checked into source control, let's just refresh this. Should just have a web folder, I think. There you go. Just one folder, which is our theme. Exactly what you want, right? Because you don't want to check in all this vendor code, and everything's handled by Composer, which will download and install the right vendor code for you. Yeah, nice. I like it. I like this way of developing. Keeps things simple. I don't know if I can get rid of these test things. I don't really know what it's used for. You know, I'm not using them. Check that it's up. Do we use tests in the... Nope. So I don't think we need that test folder. So we could get rid of that. Yeah, we could get rid of... So we want to keep the Composer lock. Docker sync. This stuff is used for Mac, I believe. So for Mac, the Docker installation isn't overly performant. So when making changes on your host system, those changes get synchronized into the container. When you've got a big code base, I don't think it's overly performant. So you can set in Docker sync stuff. I'm not really using it, but hey ho. License, what's the license? Cool. I'm always a bit, you know, are you supposed to keep the licenses in here? Maybe. Make files you want to keep. README. Yeah, sure, why not? It's useful to know all this stuff. Although I'd probably simplify it for our needs. Trafic. So this is all the routes for Trafic. That's cool. Yeah. I might change that to like stopped, whatever it is, so it doesn't restart all the time. Wobbly YML. So this stuff I don't think we need to do. I think this is the CI/CD stuff would be. As I say, I don't really overly know. So yeah. So there you go. So I probably want to set up. What do I want to do? I mean, it's pretty cool. I'd probably edit a bunch of this stuff. Guessing this is blank. Yep. This is your theme language files. Polygons. That's cool. So does this replace things on lines? So line 17. No. ESC HTML. I haven't looked at the WordPress stuff in so long. I haven't looked at WordPress in so long. Pretty interesting. There's no translation for the domain, or the domain isn't loaded. The escaped original text is shown. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. But presumably, so that's great and everything, but the problem is all your content is going to be in the same syntax. So, and what I don't get is, so this is on line 18. So how does the POT, the polygon file, know what to change? Oh, message ID. Ugh. Oh no, wait. Yeah, message ID. Oh, is that the ID and this is what it's going to be changed to? Message ID is that message string. I don't know. It's interesting. I'll look at that later. Oh. And of course you can create custom plugins as well using the same thing. So that's cool. I haven't looked at this _s stuff very much. Template for that. Template for page. Template for search. Template for content. Template part for displaying a post. So there's content use, so is that not in post? Okay. Template parts, content. So it'll return. Again, you know, gosh, it's moved on a bit. Get template part. Loads of template part into a template. String name. Provides a simple mechanism for child themes to overload reusable sections of code in the theme. Interesting. Right, so that's me done for this morning. This afternoon I am gonna do a bit more development. I'm gonna probably mess around with custom types in WordPress. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, hopefully I'll do some more streaming going forward, so we'll see. Cheers, bye bye.